Hello, and welcome to In Case You Missed It, Black Audacity Style. We will bring you up to speed today on last week's news and hot topics that you may have missed. I'm LaWanda Morris, CEO of Black Audacity Magazine and your host for this evening. Now, today we will be discussing billionaire Magic Johnson and what he's been up to, especially in Atlanta, Georgia. We'll talk about 3 pieces of legislation that we think you need to know about happening in the House of Representatives. We'll discuss AI chat box in healthcare and why the NFL is debating on getting rid of artificial turf, and a few other stories in breaking news, including the industry of Black hair care. So pour yourself a drink, grab a snack, and let's get into it. In political news, the House of Representatives has a very busy week ahead of them. And in the looming government shutdown is not only the only reason why. Fox News has reported on 3 different pieces of legislation that we think you should know about. One was introduced by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia to censor the only Palestinian American in the House of Representatives, Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, over her participation in an Israel-Gaza ceasefire rally held outside the Capitol and inside the House of Representatives building earlier last month. Now, this resolution has not been successful so far. Greene, the controversial representative again from Georgia, is also a target of a recent resolution to censor her as well. Representative Becca Balint of Vermont accused Greene of having repeatedly fanned the flames of racism, anti-Semitism, hate speech against the LGBTQ community, Islamophobia, and other forms of hate. Now, this vote has also been put on hold as well. One member of the Representative or Republican Party told Fox News that wasting time on these types of pointless resolutions and censors accomplishes nothing other than an attempt at quenching the thirst of some of the lawmakers to pursue political vendettas. Now, I could not agree more. However, soon the House will need to vote on what to do with these issues, and I'll keep you posted with those. Finally, the other or third piece of legislation, of course, will be passing a budget so to avoid a government shutdown. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as well. So all 3 of these items as they move through the House. We'll let you know what the House of Representatives are up to as the infighting continues. But hopefully now that they have a speaker, they can move some of these things that are meaningful along and perhaps set aside some of the things that are not so meaningful and that do not help us, the American people. Now, on to some sports news. The NFL is debating on whether or not to use real grass instead of artificial turf. As we all know, the debate began because of so many injuries occurring since the start of the season. Forbes has reported almost 18 injuries have just occurred recently. Most of the injuries are Achilles heels or Achilles tears, and all have occurred on turf or partial turf fields. Now, one of the most notable injuries that happened earlier this season was in one of the very first games when Aaron Rodgers, the Jets quarterback, sustained a season-ending injury. I believe it was in the first play of that game. Ultimately, the decision is up to the NFL owners whether or not they want to switch to real grass over artificial turf on their home fields. The con of having real grass is that it is more expensive and costs more to maintain. The NFL has argued that the dangers for both are real and are equal. This topic has been discussed before, but has resurfaced because of all of these recent injuries. Now, in my mind, in my opinion, if you were to ask, if the choice is to protect the players in the long term versus saving money now, well, in that case, the choice is obvious, at least to me. But since I'm not an owner, at least not yet anyways, it's not my choice to make, right? So let's just see if the owners yet again will choose their pockets over their players. In health news, AI bots have taken over even in healthcare. Now, ABC News has reported how hospitals and healthcare systems are turning to artificial intelligence to help summarize doctors' notes and analyze health records. Now, this sounds intriguing, right? But studies led by Stanford Schools of Medicine show that the responses by these chatbots are perceived as racist. Let me explain. The information is being pulled from the internet that includes misconceptions and falsehoods about Black people and Black patients. These beliefs, as ABC has reported, are known to have caused medical providers to, for example, rate Black patients' pain lower. They have led to misdiagnosis in Black patients. They've caused care providers to not take Black patients' health concerns seriously, and resulted in less recommendations for pain relief management for their Black patients. Now, if this is not history repeating itself, I don't know what is. A postdoctoral researcher who co-led the study put together a prompt to see how the chat box would respond when asked how to measure kidney function using a now discredited method that took race into account. Well, the chat box both answered that false assertions about Black people. I think that because there are already so many biases and unfair treatment of Black people in the healthcare system, this is something to look into and be aware of. So remember, you are your own best advocate for your healthcare. If something is off or doesn't sound or feel right with what you are being told by your healthcare provider, seek a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth opinion until you get the answers you know you deserve. There is no room for error when it comes to your health. So stay alert, stay informed, and stay being your best advocate, asking those questions. Just because they're doctors, nurses, healthcare providers does not mean that they always get it right. So if something feels wrong, seek another opinion. In celebrity news, some actors like to take on method acting when portraying a role. And this form of acting is when a star embraces the character physically, mentally, and emotionally. To that end, it does make for a great movie. We all appreciate them. However, it can take a toll on the actor's mental health, especially if it was a very intense role. Even after filming it, it can be a challenge for these stars to shake off the characters that they portrayed and to get back to just being themselves. Now, a few actors have talked about the effect that some roles have played on them. Jamie Foxx, for example, when he starred as Ray Charles in the biopic about his life, while filming, he kept his eyes glued shut for 14 hours a day to add authenticity to the role. It ended up causing him what he described to be panic attacks. Lady Gaga's character in the movie House of Gucci affected her so much that she needed a psychiatric nurse with her because she felt that it was safer for her. Audra Day, who embodied the late, great, and very complicated Billie Holiday in the United States versus Billie Holiday, told Oprah that she basically felt Holiday's spirit at times take over. If you haven't seen any of these films, they are all a must watch, and you will need to see them, and you'll see what I mean. Now, these actors fully embodied the role that they were playing, but I applaud them for it, but I also encourage them to take care of themselves, take care of their mental health, both before and after playing such emotional roles. I imagine it can't be easy, and I thank them all for their commitment and dedication to entertaining us, to their art and following their passions. We thank you, but we also hope and pray that you take care of your mental health. Now, former NBA star Magic Johnson is officially a billionaire, y'all. At age 64, Magic Johnson has invested in many sports teams, movie theater chains, and even Starbucks locations. But CNN has recently reported that majority of Johnson's wealth is from the ownership he has in the Equitrust Insurance Company, which is considered his largest business achievement, with $25.7 billion in assets and holdings. Now, Johnson recently acquired the Atlanta Life Insurance Company, one of the oldest Black-owned life insurance companies, which was founded in 1905. 5 by Alonzo Herndon, a formerly enslaved Black man who was a key figure in making Atlanta what it is today. Oh, and he became Atlanta's first Black millionaire, by the way. From slavery to millionaire, wow. Side note, on any day that you or I don't feel like working or getting the job done, remember Alonzo Herndon, the type of grit that must have taken for him to do what he did and build what he built. We are also built from that same type of cloth. Magic Johnson is built from that same type of cloth. So congratulations, Magic, on making it into the Billionaires Club. I'll see you there one day. Now, in breaking news and hot topics, Congress's longest serving Black staffer, Herbert Birdie Bauman, has died at age of 92. NBC News reported that he died on Wednesday, October the 25th, at a rehabilitation facility in North Bethesda, Maryland, of complications related to a recent heart surgery. Now, Bauman, at the age of only 13, ran away from home and went to Washington, D.C., where he met with California Senator Burnett Maybank. He started off sweeping the floors of the Capitol for $2 a week to becoming a clerk for the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, along with many other hats that he wore. People refer to him as an icon, and he will be missed. He lived a long and amazing life. So Bauman, job well done. Rest in power, my friend. Now, moving on to hot topics, in Black hair industry, the Black hair has been a topic of conversation that I've been happy to continuously have. It's so important to shed as much light on hair care for Black women. And once again, I'm very proud of the fact that more and more of us now know that our hair is beautiful just the way that it grows out of our scalps. Now, she might not be my best friend each and every day, but I love you, girl, through thick and thin. Yes, I'm talking to my natural hair. Try it, ladies. Now that more of us are rocking our natural locks, not only does the natural look embrace Black culture and who we are, but it is so much healthier for us, ladies. We discussed before how relaxers contain harmful chemicals that have caused cancer and infertility in Black women. Now, NBC News has reported a study just released in October by researchers at Boston University that they have found that postmenopausal Black women who reported long-term use of chemical relaxers were at highest or increased risk of uterine cancer, and the cases are rising. Thus, thousands of Black women are suing companies like L'Oreal, Revlon, and other makers of those terrible hair care straighteners that have been making Black women sick for decades now. Now, while making the companies rich, it saddens me to know how many women these products have negatively impacted. That's why I am here for these lawsuits. And we must keep spreading the word. We must keep raising people's awareness on these types of issues. To all my sisters, I love you. Please keep loving yourselves and embracing who you truly are. Keep rocking those natural hairdos and protective hair dues. Now, the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York, has displayed an exhibit with Black dolls that were made between the 1850s and the 1940s. The dolls were created with whatever materials were around at that time, which included coconut shells, flour sacks, and scraps of fabric, seed bags, socks, silk, and leather, the New York Times has reported. The exhibit celebrates the dolls and their makers, but it also serves as a remembrance of those times when slavery and racism were even more prevalent than they are today. Now, Steve Dumnick, president and CEO of the museum, stated, "Black history is our history." So having an exhibit that combined history of play for the Black population and dolls was very important to us and gave us a unique opportunity. This to me is very special, and I love it when Black history is acknowledged and celebrated. I'm always here for it. The exhibit will run until January the 7th. So for those of you who can make it out to see it, please do. You won't be sorry. Well, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed today's segment of In Case You Missed It, Black Audacity Style. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications to see more Black Audacity Magazine YouTube content in your feed. I'll see you back here next Monday, same time, same place. I'm LaWanda Morris, CEO of Black Audacity Magazine, and we are unapologetically and unambiguously Black Audacity. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.